Hi everyone, this is Heather. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I've got a card tutorial for you and we're going to be making an Arctic Animals winter birthday card. I can't really get it all in the camera, but as you can kind of see, this is one of those tall, slim cards. And they fit in those kind of long, skinny office business type envelopes. And for the base of my card, I've taken a piece of 110-pound weight cardstock and I've cut it to 8 by 9 and I've scored it on the 8 end at the 4 and folded it over for the base of my card. Ahead of time, I've gone ahead and used some stitched hill dies to cut out my ground and up into the waves of the card. So I've got kind of a purple, a medium teal blue, and 2 pieces of lighter blue. And I've just taped the stitched hill die in place, ran that through my die cut machine, and then just cut them in different heights. I will say for these tall cards, you do kind of have to play around with, the heights and staggering everything out when you have all these layers, and just cut them all down to the width of your card. In this case, it's 4 inches. I'm using several stamp sets from Lawn Fawn. I'm using Critters in the Snow, Mermaid for You, and Critters of the Sea. I really love how Lawn Fawn stamps all really work well together. Using some baby blue water reactive dye from Spectrum Noir and a cloud stencil, I've put my card base on just a scrap piece of white paper. I'm going to pick up some ink on an ink blending brush and just in light swirling motions, I'm going to apply that blue to the top of my card. I'm going to move my cloud down and just kind of shift it over a little bit and just continue working down. I like to overlap as I'm working down. Have some sections be a little bit lighter and a little bit darker. Move over and add some more on this side. I'm going to work my way down into about the top third of the card, adding the clouds as I go. And here's the base of my card with all of my clouds stenciled on. Since I'm stamping out a bunch of different stamps all at once, I'm going to be using a stamp positioner. It just makes it so much easier. So I've gone ahead and spaced out my stamps. I've got another piece of 110-pound weight white cardstock. I'm going to ink up all my images with black pimento ink and stamp them all out. I've inked my stamps up a couple of times and stamped them out, so I've got a nice crisp image. And I'm going to use one of my favorite tools from Lawn Fawn to clean off my stamps, and that is their stamp chamois. As you can tell, I really love it. To color my images today, I'm going to be using markers from Spectrum Noir. I'm starting off with their tri-blend markers, and this is the brown-gray blend. I'm using the lightest of the 3 tones, and I'm just going to trace around the inside of my polar bear just to give him a little bit of extra color and shading so he's not totally stark white. With the same brown-gray blend, I'm going to completely fill in the body of my seal with this lightest tone. Once that's filled in, I'm going to take the darker tone of the same tri-blend marker and add some shading and shadowing to my seal. With the medium tone of that same marker, I'm going to kind of overlap the darker and the lighter colors to kind of blend those in. And then I'm just going to go back over everything with the lighter shade and just blend those in together. And a lot of times I also like to go one more time in with the dark in some certain spots just so that I've got that nice definition of shadow. Using the ice gray blend marker, I'm going to fill in my penguin, avoiding his beak, his belly, and his feet. And just like I did with the seal, I'm going to take the darker tone of this marker and add some shade and shadowing to my penguin. Overcolor just a little bit with the medium tone. and use the light tone to blend everything in together. For the beak and feet of my penguin, I'm using Coral Blend, and because these are such small areas, I'm just going to use the light and the dark. I'm not going to worry about the medium tone. You can if you would like. And just blend that in together. And then moving on to my fish, I'm going to be using this same coral. I'm going to color all the fish in with the lightest shade, and just the bottom halves with the darker, just to give them a little bit more definition. On my polar bear, my penguin, and my seal, I'm going to add some little details with some pink. I'm using the pale pink blend, and I'm using the medium tone. And to the bear, I've done his nose and his cheeks. The little penguin will get some little pink cheeks, and so will the seal. I needed 2 rocks for my card, so I've gone ahead and stamped that rock out a second time. And to color it in, I'm using the Tan Blend Tri-Blend marker. I'm just going to color both of these rocks completely in with this lightest shade. With that filled in, I'm going in with the darker shade. I'm just going to add some definition and shadow around the rocks. Same as the other images, I'm going to overcolor with the medium tone, and then go back in with the lighter and just blend that together. I'm going to do that on both of these rocks. For my whale, I wanted him to look like an orca, so I've got IG6 and just the classic Spectrum Noir markers, and I'm going to kind of draw along where I would like my whale to be white. So I'm going to kind of give the end of his fluke some white, that kind of oval shape that's near their eyes, and then a little bit on the belly. Sorry if you hear my cat meowing in the background. So now that I've drawn this out, I'm going to take the IG6 and I'm just going to fill inside all those lines, avoiding those white areas. So I've also got a little tip for you. If you do happen to color in where you actually wanted it to be white, you can take a clear blender marker and go over that, and you can lift away a lot of that color. So that's a little tip if you kind of get a little carried away with your coloring. I wanted to add just a little bit more of a darker shade on the underside of the whale, so I'm going in with some IG6 and just adding a little bit more shadow. With my images colored in, I'm ready to cut everything out. These sets do have dies that go with them, but I don't have them, so I'm just going to go old school and use my scissors and cut everything out, leaving just a little bit of a white border around. With my images cut out, I'm ready to begin building my scene. I'm going to bring over my card base, and you want to start at the top layer and work your way down so that you can adhere each subsequent layer on top of the other. So I've gone up about 5 1/4 and just made a little tick mark with my pencil so I can kind of have an idea of where I would like this first layer to lay down. And now I'm ready to lay down my next layer. And I've just kind of overlapped so that just a little bit of that hump is showing through. I'm moving down to the darker teal layer. And then finally, this final purple layer that will line up with the 3 edges of the card. If anything is a little bit off, like a couple of my pieces are, just turn it over and take your scissors and trim off that excess. So I'm ready to start putting my images on my card front. On the back of one of the rocks, I've placed just regular tape runner. And on the back of my polar bear, I've got some foam tape. So I'm just going to kind of place him in front of that. I'm going to place the other rock down again with regular adhesive. I'm going to place the little penguin in front. Put my little school of fish in with regular adhesive. My little seal goes down with some foam tape. And then I'm going to lift just the little tip edge of that first wave and place my whale in there. I'm going back to my black memento ink, and right above my whale, I'm gonna put a little spout I've trimmed a very skinny little piece of the same blue cardstock as the top waves. It's about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to stamp "Have a Whale of a Time," and then take my scissors and just trim off some of the ends. I placed a very skinny strip of foam tape on the back of my words, and I'm going to place that at the top of my card. And here is our finished card. I'm really sorry I can't totally get the whole thing in the video, but I think this is a really fun card for anyone that maybe has like a winter birthday. It's also a great way to kind of use some stamps that you might think of for wintertime or the holidays or Christmas, but you can actually use them for other things like birthday cards. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to check out my channel and subscribe, and I hope you have a whale of a day. This is Heather. Bye.